reports in the last 24 hours. I've seen it in the Evening Standard today as well. That Arsenal, more so Arteta, has held some early talks about trying to sign Marcus Rashford from Manchester United. Thoughts on that, mate?
Nah, man, I'm hoping that's a load of rubbish. I can't see how that is a priority area of the pitch for us. I don't think that is a huge upgrade on Martinelli or Trossard. I think he is a player who has been extremely overrated I think, probably by most of the fan base at Manchester United, but certainly by other rival fans as well. I've never been a fan of him. I think his mentality is shambolic. I don't really understand why anybody would want him after the season he's had at Manchester United. I wouldn't be giving him anywhere near 375k a week. And I just don't think it's a player that would suit Arsenal, if I'm honest with you. I need to see that sort of signing to me is very similar, or a player is very similar to the Aubameyangs, Ozils, Guendouzi's, Kolasinac's type signings that Arteta wanted to get the hell out of here. I see that mentality and I just think, not for me. I'm sure the boy's talented. I'm sure he's a talented kid. I look at the goals that he scored in the last few seasons. He has one season where he scores 4, another season where he scores 17, then he goes back to scoring 4 again. Then he scores 17, then he goes back to scoring 7 again. It ain't for me. People are trying to compare it to Havertz. I don't see that we need a project player anymore. Like, I'm done with that now. I need players to come in like Declan Rice and hit the ground running. That we got to try and get ahead of Man City. I don't want any more project signings. And that would be a project signing for me. That would be trying to see what you can do with getting the best out of him. Nah, it might be awful. And also, you know, the kid was nearly 27 now, and people are like, look at the potential. And I'm like, this guy is not a kid. This guy was a kid 10 years ago when he first come on the scene. So I don't see it. I think it would be poor. He can only play in one position from what I can see. That is not the type of player Arteta likes. He likes versatility. I don't think he's a number 9. I don't think he's a right winger. I don't think he's a number 10. So he's basically a winger. And I think Martinelli and Trossard are better. So I don't see this one happening, so if I'm honest. And if it does happen, I'll be very shocked, to be fair.
It's a weird one. It is a weird one. I suppose an Arsenal fan he was determined that he starts for Arsenal when he gets in over Martinelli and Trossard. I agree with you, Potts. I don't think it's what you need. Arteta's got this weird "I can fix you" mindset of he loves taking these broken players and trying to do something with them. But like you said, this ain't the one. People was telling me, Arsenal would say, he obviously have to take a wage cut. I mean, how much of a wage cut is he going to take to go from Man United to Arsenal? It's not like you're joining Nottingham Forest and you realise, you know, they ain't got a lot of money. Like, you're going there. Is he seriously going to take a big wage cut, relocate his whole family, obviously, to London? Yeah, I just can't see it. I just can't see it happening. That'd be a mad one. This is some of them ones you can't just have him being like this squad player that plays, you know, gets 5 minutes off the bench here and there. Like, you're signing him to be a big part of your team. So it's I do think he probably needs to move on. But yeah, for Arsenal, just go out and save that money and get some clear upgrades for positions you need. I understand we all need a squad, but now those players that are your starters have to become your bench players, and the new players bench them because they're that much better, and that's how you're going to get to the title.
It's not a priority area of the pitch at all for Arsenal. You know, we need a number 9, we need a midfielder, and then we need some backup players that are going to allow for Saliba, Odegaard, Saka to get the rest that they need. Left wing, we've got Trossard, we've got Martinelli, we have got Jesus, to be fair, that can play there as well. I don't see that there's any need whatsoever to be bringing in somebody like this. It's just a pointless signing. It would cost us too much money. It would cost us madness each week. And I'd rather put that money towards a proper number 9 signing, or of course a midfielder that I think would take us forward. So yeah, not the priority area for me at all, man.
So I get your here points. I said about Rashford. Rashford's had 2 poor seasons for United this season and 2 seasons ago. All the seasons prior to his first bad season were very good. Last campaign was very, very good. I am desperate for him to not go Arsenal. I've had this thought for about 2 years on Rashford. If he leaves, he's going to cook. I genuinely believe if he joins Arsenal, he will kill it. If he joins a City, he would kill it. PSG, Bayern Munich, I think he would kill it. I think he's a tremendous talent. He is a good goal scorer. He is no different, though, to so many other players at United who have just come a cropper because of all the problems internally. And I'm not saying he hasn't made mistakes. And I'm not saying that he hasn't done things wrong. But isn't it interesting how we have a player that, goes out and drinks a little bit and the whole world is like, what a disgrace. And then you get a Jack Grealish that everybody celebrates getting drunk. Now, I know Jack Grealish is part of a team that's winning, but the behaviors are the same. And I think that Rashford is kind of fallen foul to, like, when you're at a club that isn't achieving, you get a lot more stick for doing the quote unquote unprofessional things than if you're part of a team that is winning. And I understand that to a certain degree, but I think there's a tremendous, tremendous player in there. And my opinion of him hasn't changed. I hope that between him, the new ownership, the new manager, if there's a new manager, they keep him and I'm not saying, I don't think he's fallen out of love with Man United. He was in absolute tears at the weekend after picking up the FA Cup trophy. And some people didn't like that. I love seeing it. I actually quite like seeing sportsmen and women, really, when they win or when they lose. I quite like seeing the tears and the emotion come out. I think it shows how much it matters and how much it. I remember watching first footballer I ever saw cry. Actually, Gaza was the first when we went out in the semi-finals, and that was like, listen, the amount of stuff he's got away with because of those tears, because it made the world endear themselves to him. I remember watching Ian Wright walk off the pitch after being knocked out of Europe crying. I'm thinking, oh, look how much. I remember just as a kid thinking, like, Arsenal were out, but how much it means. And when I saw Rashford the other day, I just I couldn't work out whether he was just, I've had a terrible season by my standards, by the club standards, and I'm so proud that we've delivered, because he was very good at the weekend. I was very impressed with him. And or whether he was crying because he kind of knows it's going to be the last time he kicks a ball for Man United. And I think I think if he can, the one thing he hasn't had, and I'm not like a lot of United fans that use this as a way of defending Sancho and Pogba and Martial, but won't use it when it comes to Bruno Fernandes or Rashford, is that he's also been a victim of all the problems at our football club. And equally, when you mention the Aubameyangs and the like, the only reason the Aubameyangs were seen as bad is because they joined a club that had poor behaviors at the time, and you almost become sort of, even if you join with the right attitude, you can become corrupted by it. Does that make sense? Because it's how everybody else behaves. And I think Marcus Rashford joining an environment that Arsenal have now, you would get the very best Marcus Rashford for 3, 4, 5 years. And if you could get the very best Rashford for 3, 4, 5 years, he is worth the transfer fee and he is worth the salaries, because he would score and deliver and win you so many points. So I hope it doesn't happen, because my fervent belief is that wherever he goes, if he leaves Man United, he is going to absolutely destroy it. And if it is to leave Man United, I hope it's abroad, because I would be in so much. If Man United go on to be better than Arsenal, it wouldn't hurt as much. But it would hurt me to watch him go to Arsenal, score 25 plus goals a season, 30 goals a season, all comps consistently, because I think he's got it in him. But he just needs to be at a club that's got the right mentality, that's in the right space to help him do that. I think he's a tremendous football player. I really, really do.
Interesting.
Look, you know him better than me. You know him better than me, so you're watching me.
He sold you now, Potts, didn't he? Look, he's got you excited, didn't it?
You know what I was thinking is, right? Because someone put in the chat, and I agree. It's like Terry's trying to sell me a motorbike that's beautiful to ride, but the wheel's going to come off eventually. And it's like, when is that wheel going to come off?
Bro, I am a top-class salesman, I'm telling you. I know how to do it, but I'm being genuine.
I wouldn't want him. I stand by it, but I understand why. I understand as well why Manchester United fans look at it and think, wow, when he's good, he's really good. And it's so frustrating. We haven't got the consistency from him, because I get that he's everything you want in Manchester United, right? But
really. Sorry, go on. Sorry, finish.
No,
sorry.
I was literally finished. I literally stand by what I said. I would not want it. I just think there's a problem with his mentality. I don't think it's a
baggage there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's too much work. I think that what we need is someone to come in and go, right, he's ready now. Boom, boom, boom. If we were growing and we were trying to get into that top 4 and we were trying to go next level, I might look at that and go, "Oh, that's a good signing," because you know what, he can grow with us while we're trying to get somewhere. But I don't think we're at that.
But I think he is. I think he is ready. So listen. I understand your points. I think they're logical. I think they hold water. 100%. I get them. It's all about why you think someone's not performing. Now, some people think he's been inconsistent the last couple of years, good, bad, indifferent, because that's him as a player. Now, of course, if you don't rate him as a player, that suits your narrative. You can go, boom, there we go. I was right. But I think the reason he's inconsistent is the same reason why a lot of players at our club have been inconsistent in the last decade. And why the vast majority, barring Paul Pogba, because he got an injury and then a drugs ban, have left the club and gone on to do much better elsewhere than staying here. Whether you're talking about Chris Smalling or Darmian, look at all the players that leave Man United and look good elsewhere. Look at all our players that play internationally. Bruno Fernandes, he actually finally got put back into his best position for Man United in the last 2 months, and he's killed it. Watch him over the last.
He's been really good, to be fair.
Watch him over the last 18 months for Portugal. Different football player, absolutely different football player. He looks like a different human being. You wouldn't even think it's the same person if if you could change the way his face look and blur it out, you wouldn't think it was the same football player. And so much of that is Man United. We hurt and damage so many players, especially for their form, because we don't have a great system. We don't have a great shape. It becomes problematic. I think that he is ready to go into a team that's got a great structure, that's very well put together, where the club at its core is in a good space. I think he's ready to go to the next level. But I understand why people don't. And this would be my opinion if he goes to Arsenal. It wouldn't be met with the same pushback as Kai Havertz. I don't think it'd be met, but there'd be similarities. But within 2 to 3 months, there'd be a lot of gooners saying, "Oh my God, Arteta, thank you. Thank you." It would be another one of them because I think he'd just kill it. And that's why I absolutely pray that Man United say, "Look, Rashi, if you're going to go, you're going abroad or you're staying." I'd be so gutted if he joined Arsenal or anyone in the top 6. Maybe not Spurs because they wouldn't do anything anyway. But I'd just be so gutted if he joined any of you guys. It really would. And this is the one thing I say to Man United fans. It's Arsenals and Barca's and PSGs that are looking at him. And you're all sitting there going, he's not good enough. Sometimes you've got to put your bias aside. I've seen players like St. Maximin and Zaha. People have told me for years, all better than Rashford. Look what clubs came in for them when they were leaving their respective clubs compared to who's coming in for Rashford. You have to look at that. There's something in it. There is something in that, in my personal opinion,